Welcome to Channel Today in History. In today's video we will talk about the day September 21st, 1964. Independence of Malta. Malta, officially the Republic of Malta, is an island country located in southern Europe, whose territory occupies the Maltese Islands, an archipelago located in the Mediterranean Sea, 93 kilometers south of the island of Sicily, Italy, and 288 kilometers northeast of Tunisia, Africa. 1,826 kilometers east of Gibraltar, and 1,510 kilometers west of Alexandria. Malta covers a land area of 316 square kilometers, making it one of the smallest countries in Europe, and having the highest population density on the continent. Its capital is Valletta, and the largest city is Birkirkara. Maltese is the national language and English is the co-official language. Throughout history, Malta's location has given it great strategic importance and a succession of powers, including Phoenicians, Greeks, Romans, Byzantines, Arabs, Moors, Normans, Aragonese, Habsburg Spain, St. John's Knights, French and British ruled the island. Malta gained its independence from the United Kingdom in 1964 and became a republic in 1974, retaining membership in the Commonwealth. It is a member of the United Nations since December 1, 1964, and a member of the European Union since May 1, 2004. Malta is also a party to the Schengen Agreement since 2007 and a member of the Eurozone since 2008. Story: Malta has been inhabited since around 5200 BC, during the Neolithic. The first archaeological finds date to approximately 3800 BC. A significant prehistoric civilization existed on the islands before the arrival of the Phoenicians, who named the main island Malat, meaning a safe haven. Neolithic farmers lived mainly in caves and produced pottery similar to that found in Sicily. Between 2400 and 2000 BC, an elaborate cult of the dead developed, possibly influenced by the cultures of the Cyclades and Mycenae Islands, Bronze Age. This culture was destroyed by an invasion, probably from southern Italy. Around 1000 BC, the islands were a Phoenician colony. In 736 BC, they were occupied by the Greeks and later became the domain of the Carthaginians, 400 BC, and after the Romans, 218 BC, when they received the name Melita. According to the Book of the Acts of the Apostles, in the year 60 of the Christian era, Sao Paulo was shipwrecked and reached the Maltese coast, where it promoted the conversion of its inhabitants. From that date, the Maltese adhered to Christianity and remain faithful to it today. With the division of the Roman Empire in 395, the eastern part of the island was ceded to the rule of the Byzantine Empire, which controlled it until 870, when it was conquered by the Muslim Arabs, who influenced its language and culture. After the Arab conquest, it was converted to Islam. Arabic influence can be found in the modern Maltese language, a heavily romanticized language that originally derives from vernacular Arabic. In 1090, Count Rogerio de Sicily conquered Malta and submitted it to his laws until the 16th century. It was at this time that the Maltese nobility was created. This still stands today, and there are 32 titles that are still in use, the oldest being Barons of Jar il Nayat and Bacana. After the Norman conquest of Sicily, Malta became Christian again. After being annexed to the Kingdom of Sicily, Malta was reclaimed by Muslim forces. In 1245, Federico II de Hohenstaufen expelled the Arabs, and in 1266 the islands, together with Sicily, came under the domain of Carlos I of Anjou, who ceded them in 1283 to Pedro III of Aragon. Falling into the hands of the Kingdom of Aragon, it later passed to Spain. In 1518, under the empire of Charles V, it was granted to the Knights of Rhodes. In 1530, the islands were ceded by Spain to the Hospital Order of St. John of Jerusalem, a religious and military order belonging to the Catholic Church, who had been expelled from Rhodes by the Ottoman Empire. This militant monastic order, known today as the Order of Malta, was besieged by the Ottoman Turks in 1565, after which they added fortifications, especially in the new city of Valletta. The Knights of St. John of Jerusalem ruled the islands until the 19th century. In 1798, Napoleon Bonaparte invaded and took Malta. Great Britain regained control in 1800, with the surrender of the French commander, General Claude-Henri Belgrand de Vaubois. Among the interventors who contributed to British rule is Sir Alexander Ball, who went on to become the first English governor of Malta. In 1814, as part of the Treaty of Paris, Malta officially became part of the British Empire as a colony, and was used as a port of call and fleet headquarters until the mid-1930s. Malta played an important role during the World War II, due to its proximity to the Axis shipping lines and the courage of its people, who resisted the harassment of Germans and Italians during the siege of the archipelago, led to the award of the George Cross, which can now be seen on the country's flag. The archipelago became autonomously governed in 1947. In 1955, Bishop Mintoff, Dominic Mintoff, leader of the Malta Labour Party, PTM, became Prime Minister. In 1956, the PTM proposed a new integration in the United Kingdom, a proposal that would be accepted in a referendum, but with the opposition of the Conservative Party, led by Giorgio Borg-Olivier. In 1959, they revoked autonomy, but reinstated it in 1962. On September 21, 1964, Malta became fully independent and became a member of the United Nations. At that time, it became a member of the Commonwealth and entered into an alliance with the United Kingdom for economic and military aid. Under the 1964 Constitution, Malta retained Queen Elizabeth II as sovereign, and a Governor-General exercised executive authority on her behalf. From 1964 to 1971, Malta was ruled by the Nationalist Party. On December 13, 1974, he adopted the Republican regime within the Commonwealth, with the President as head of state. Although Malta has been fully independent since 1964, British services remained in the country and maintained full control over the ports, airport, post office, radio and television. In 1979, Malta broke its alliance with the United Kingdom, and the British evacuated its military base, ending 179 years of presence on the island. This happened after the British government had refused to pay a higher rent, which was intended by the Maltese government of the time, Labour, to allow British forces to remain in the country. The Prime Minister was then Dominic Mintoff. For the first time in its history, Malta was now free of foreign military bases. This event is today celebrated as Freedom Day. In 1971, the Labour Party returned to power, but with a reduced majority with Dominic Mintoff as Prime Minister. He developed a policy of friendship with China and Libya. The 1970s were characterized by the weakening of relations with the West and the approximation with communist regimes. In 1984, Mintoff retired and was replaced by Mifsud Bonisi, his party's new leader. The policy of approximation with the communist regimes underwent substantial change in 1985, with the establishment of an agreement with the European Economic Community. In 1987, the Nationalist Party, more oriented towards the West, and with a policy of approximation to the European Union, won the elections for the House of Representatives, ending 16 years of Labour Party domination. Edward Fenwick Adami was elected Prime Minister. In December 1989, Malta was the chosen location for a meeting between the President of the United States, George H.W. Bush, and the President of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev. In October 1990, the country formally applied to join the European Union. In the 1992 elections, the nationalists again defeated their opponents. The government policy continued to be one of liberalization, and several economic reforms were carried out, with a view to making the country a member of the European Union. Deep differences between the Nationalist Party, in power since 1987, and the Labour Party over Malta's accession to the European Union lead to early elections in 1996. Alfred Sant's Labour Party won the elections. After taking office, the new government announces that Malta is no longer a candidate for membership. In 1998, new elections took place in which the Nationalist Party and its leader Edward Fenwick Adami obtained a great victory and returned to the European path, which culminated in Malta's entry on May 1, 2004 into the European Union. Did you like the video? In the description you will find the blog link with the full article. Give an incentive by subscribing to the channel, liking, commenting and sharing with your friends. Hugs. Until the next.